guys, it is Elisa here, or the Diamond Stitcher, as I go by on YouTube and Instagram. Hello, good morning or good afternoon, whatever time it is you are watching this video. I hope you are having a wonderful day. If you are new to my channel, first off, welcome. I'm happy you found me, and I hope you would consider subscribing and stick around for all things diamond painting. And if you are returning, thank you so much for your continued support. I have a WIP and Chat for you guys today, and if only you knew how many times I've tried to sit down and start filming this. Oh my gosh, you guys would be laughing. I sat down with my new camera to film it, and I guess I forgot to charge it, so the battery's dead. So I'm just going to film this on my phone. If you haven't heard me mention, my husband recently surprised me with a new camera to do my filming, and it's been a bit of a learning curve to learn all its ins and outs, but basically I know how to work it. So I guess forgot to charge it. But we have my stepson today a bit later in the day, and I just honestly want to get this filmed because I literally have been trying to film this on a variety of different days for different reasons, and my health has not been nice to me this past week, so everything's hard. So I'm gonna try this again, and let's hope that this works. And going forward, I will remember to charge my camera. But if you knew what I had to do to set up here, then you would understand why I'm just like, screw it, and I'm just gonna do it with my phone this time. Nothing wrong with the quality of my phone. It's just a fancy little upgrade my husband thought I would like. So anyway, where do I even begin? WIP and Chat. WIP and Chat, WIP, stands for work in progress, and it refers to the diamond painting that you are currently working on. Let me show you what I'm working on. Now this is zoomed in, right? Yeah. So this is Rainy Day by Lynn and Diamond Art Club. Here's the image. Isn't it adorable? I just love this image as soon as I saw it. It's actually my first Lynn I've ever done. I just love the bright colors in this kit and all the cute little features like these little ducks and the lamb with her rain boots on. So I thought this would be a fun kit. I also thought it would be super fun to add extra bling, which I have been doing. It has 67 colors. One is a fairy dust, and there are 3 ABs. And then, yeah, as I said, I am adding in a bunch of extra stuff. So let me kind of zoom in to where I'll be diamond painting. I'm using my usual Yellow Dog Designs 3D printed tray. I will have links to that in the description box. I have 3 pens sitting beside me here. I will be using one or all of them in the video. These two have putty these two have putty in them from J&L Crafty Creations. This one has wax from Dream Wax Studio. I use this one for ABs. So that is what I will be using. And aren't these cover minders cute? These are the cover minders I made. So where do I even begin about updating you? I think that's about where it starts. So when was it? January 25th, I had my first, well, not my first, I had a Valentine's Day cover minder drop. If you didn't know, I've shown them in a couple of videos. These are the cover minders I made for Valentine's Day. Now, I made mine specifically for my pets, so that's why there's a dog on there and a little kitty with a teacup on this one. And I found it odd. I didn't plan on this little heart that says love in it on both of them. It just happened to work out that way. That's the one I chose, so I thought it was so cute. And I'm keeping these 2 for me and my cat and my dog. But let me find the magnet. There we go. So cover minders have magnets on the back, and most people use them to hold back the plastic cover on their diamond painting. I use it to secure release papers. So if I'm not quite done this sticky part of the diamond painting, when I am done filming this WIP and Chat, then I will plop a release paper on top and secure it with this so it doesn't fall off. I am supposed to be making more of these, and to be honest, my health has not been nice to me the past 2 weeks. So I had about 4 made that all were kind of dog themed, that they've already been claimed by friends. I am hoping this week maybe that, I don't think I have too many medical appointments this week, so maybe I will be able to make some. I really wanted to do another drop before Valentine's Day. I'm not certain that will happen, but I think I will do one more drop before the end of the month. And then I actually have plans already for spring minders. I have some Easter stuff planned. I did order some mermaid stuff too, to do some mermaid or sea life minders. There's a lot that I can do with these, and again, I'm just doing it for fun, and everybody has been loving them, which I'm so thankful for. Actually, when I dropped these on the 25th, they all sold out. I had about 35 of them, and they sold out within an hour. So if you bought some from my last drop, I'm very grateful and thank you so much. I'm really happy you guys like them. And yeah, before I keep talking, let me pour in some diamonds. So I need the number T12. How are you guys doing? Before I talk about me, please let me know in the comment section how you are doing. I've had a lot of new members join us over the past few months, a steady increase, which I'm so grateful for. If you are new around here, please say hi in the comments. Tell me a little bit about you or how you got into diamond painting, where you're from, and yeah, I would love to hear from you. Now, this isn't going to be the best setup. Actually, maybe I can move this a little farther out. Hold on. Maybe that will be okay. What I need is actually a light. But lights drive my head nuts, so I don't want to give myself a headache. Anyway, I hope that's good enough. I know when I watch WIP and Chats, I don't stare at the screen the whole time. I'm actually usually diamond painting or doing housework. So I glance up at the screen every now and then, but otherwise I'm not focused on it. So I hope most of you are the same and this doesn't bother you, but I just do not want to wait 2 hours for my camera to charge because, as I said, my stepson is coming over today, and I've literally been trying to film this WIP and Chat for probably a good week. I've probably sat down 4 times to film it, and something has come up, whether I just all of a sudden felt really sick and I had to stop filming, or my camera died, or what was the other reason? I can't remember. My mic. Oh yeah, I did film it, but I with my camera, but I was still getting used to the volume and what to set the volume in on the camera, because I do connect a mic usually and it makes it louder, of course, but I put the settings too low, so even in editing I couldn't raise the volume enough that it would really be easy to hear, so I had to delete that, and here we are again. So that was a bit frustrating, but I usually hate refilming videos. I always find the first one is more authentic and more just better. I usually am not picky, and I don't go back to refilm things if I think, it's not super great. I just post it as it is because none of us are perfect, right? But yeah, I have been struggling. There have been a couple of days where I've posted saying, oh my God, I'm having a great day. So in the last 2 weeks, probably maybe 3 or 4 good days, if I had to guess. For me, that's pretty good. I mean, there's a period of time, and there are sometimes some months where it's just the whole month, like I don't really have a good day. I might have a good moment in a day, but the whole day is not good. So yeah, I've been struggling, yet I've also had some good days. So when people ask me how I'm doing, it's really like I'm managing is the word, or I'm surviving is the word I usually use. Because yeah, I don't have all good days. I do have all bad days, but I don't have all good days. Usually it's just part of my day, which, you know what, I'm fine with. But yeah, it's a complicated question when people ask how I'm doing, because like, do I want to be honest and tell you not good, or do I want, to be optimistic and just lie and say I'm doing good? I don't like doing that. I'm very real. So usually if people ask me, I'm an open book, and I'm usually pretty honest, but I have been struggling. So where do I even begin? So yeah, January 25th, I did my Valentine's minder drop. I'm hoping to start being able to make some more this coming week. My January was so full of medical appointments, and February has been no different so far. And I find medical appointments really drain me. One, I get a lot of anxiety before them, especially if it's a new doctor or a new procedure. I have a lot of anticipatory anxiety, and often that is like for days before. So I'm in like a heightened state of anxiety for a lot longer than I should be, because I just have anxiety, and that's how it presents. And it's because I'm in the middle of some big diagnoses and just not doing well. It's kind of heightened the anxiety around it too. So sorry if my voice is a little bit, I don't know if you call it growly today. One of the complications of one of my surgeries made my voice sound different. So now I can sound very kind of scratchy almost, I guess. Just depending on how irritated everything is. So I always find in the morning too, it's like that, and I'm filming in the morning. Hopefully before my husband wakes up, but you never know. If he does wake up, he'll start making noise, making coffee. Hopefully not too loud, but I really do not want any interruptions here. If I'm interrupted, if I have to film this one more time, I swear to God, there's no WIP and Chat for February. There's no update. It's not happening. I'm kidding, of course, but yeah, so very thankful for that Valentine's drop. I really enjoy making these minders because when I'm not feeling well enough to diamond paint, or, you know, I've already diamond painted part of the day and I'm getting bored or antsy, or I need to, you know, get up from sitting so much, then I can move over and make some of these. But my breathing has been very hard lately, and that has been prohibiting me from being able to stand at the counter and making these minders. Gravity is not my friend. I've talked about it before. Part of the many issues that I deal with is basically my body's allergic to gravity. The normal automatic systems in our body that adjust, I don't even know how to say it, adjust our body when we stand up. Like usually, you know, your blood pressure will drop a little bit and then it rises, your heart rate rises accordingly, your respirations rise, everything kind of goes into overdrive when you go from sitting to standing, and then it normalizes again. But me, it does not normalize. These functions continue to rise. So my heart rate continues to rise to over 200. I get dizzy, I can't breathe. Let me just find my other color. Where's the H31? Yeah, it's not good. So I've been having more days where that system is very angry lately, and it's been very debilitating. It's really hard for me, you guys, when I do have, like I said, good moments and days. And sometimes I do call a day a good day in general, because I did have majority of my waking hours were tolerable, were manageable. Pain was low. My other symptoms were at bay. And I just had a relaxing day with zero anxiety, or probably more likely less anxiety. And I just diamond painted and just enjoyed the day with my girls, my dog, and my cat, right? But when those bad days hit, like after a good day, I could probably say with almost 100% certainty, after a good day, the next day is automatically bad, because chances are I've overdone it on the good day, or I did too much and my body is exhausted the next day. So it's really been getting to me emotionally, this flip-flopping between good and bad days. It's really hard when you have a good day and you wake up the next day and it's like your body plays a trick on you and is like, just kidding, your life still sucks. It can be very hard mentally to not feel so negative when on days like that. It can be very hard. I'm pretty good at training my brain and reframing my thinking, but I'm not gonna lie, it wears on me. It is exhausting. Now, I've heard some other creators talk about this before, something called the spoon theory. If you are somebody with chronic illnesses, you may have heard this yourself. It's just generally a way to explain to normal people what happens in our bodies. So a normal person like my husband, he wakes up in the morning and he has 20 spoons for his day, and spoons means energy. So he has 20 of them, 20 points. How he calls them are points. So 20 energy points he can spread throughout the day and he's good. I wake up and I have 4. So I never have 20. I always have 4. So I have to spread 4 energy points or 4 spoons throughout my entire day to survive. So lately, that's exactly what I've been waking up with, like 4 spoons. Not even. Some days are 2 spoons. And all I can do is basically sit and diamond paint and hope the day passes relatively quickly and the next day is better. But yeah, it has been tough energy-wise in the last couple weeks. Also, I think because of all these medical appointments, and they've been appointments that we have to kind of travel to. They're about an hour to 45 minutes away. And when you add that in, it just, even though my husband or my parents drive me, I can't drive. anymore. Not that far. Still, as a passenger, it's exhausting. The car is not comfortable for me. I can't, you know, set up my body in a way that makes it comfortable. So it's a little bit difficult. So everything has just been exhausting. I've been trying to write down in my agenda, you know, what happens on certain days, because I find that I would love to film weekly WIP and Chats, but lately I've been finding it too difficult. It's too much for me to take on. Like, I'm too exhausted as is. So I've been doing WIP and Chats maybe every 2 weeks, sometimes every 3 weeks, if you know, if I've been very busy and just haven't been able to sit down. Some days talking is even hard. For those that don't know, I had a complication from one of my surgeries where my diaphragm is partially paralyzed. The diaphragm kind of sits under your lungs, and it's a major muscle in respiration, so in breathing. And when it's not working, you can't breathe. So I deal with that on a daily basis. As far as we know, it's still paralyzed. I am waiting for another imaging test on the 21st of this month. So it's coming up soon to test if it is still paralyzed. We tested it at the end of last year and it was still fully paralyzed. So I personally don't have high hopes that it's magically healed, but especially because I still have such problems breathing. But yeah, I've been noticing lately that's getting worse in general. So sometimes just sitting here talking to you, I get very winded very quickly. And because I've been having so many bad breathing days, it's another barrier to me wanting to sit down and film, because I can't even breathe sitting on the couch. So me setting all this stuff up to film a video, and then I honestly have to rest. I set everything up and I have to rest for like half an hour before I can then film, because I'm so exhausted from setting up. So I wish we had an extra bedroom in our house. We don't. We're still in the 1-bedroom apartment with a den, but it's an open den, and that's where my husband's computer setup is. So I don't have my own little area. If I want to set up to film, I have to bring everything out and set it up. And now that I have a few extra things, it's even more work. So, I mean, it's good because it makes me use muscles that I won't otherwise use, but it can be very, very difficult for me because once I set up, I'm exhausted. I need to rest first. So let me just get these guys stuck in here. Looks like I made my spacing off a little bit. I have been using putty in my single placer for this painting. I was just getting tired of the glue dots. They were driving me nuts. And then I was getting tired of the wax because it does leave a bit of residue, but I'm finding this putty I'm using, it's like leaving some residue in itself, which I don't really like. But like, I don't know if you can see that through the camera, but if you have residue on your diamonds, whether you use a wax or a putty that seem to leave residue, you can go over it with a toothbrush after and just get some of it off. I used to do that. I usually don't do that much anymore, but for this one I probably will, because this is one that I think I will keep forever. It's just so beautiful, the colors, and I'm putting extra work to bling it out. And I just love the way so far it's rendered, like these clouds, the shading in it, the different colors, the blending is just so beautiful. So this is probably one I'm going to keep. So maybe I need to change my putty, maybe that's the problem. But let me just take a quick look at my little agenda. I just, you know, sometimes I have nothing written. Other times it's either says bad day or good day. But then what did I do? Yeah, so those Valentine's minders, so I had about 35 for sale. I can't remember the total number of orders. Some people got multiple, but yeah, I did get in a flare-up after packaging all of those parcels. My arm was really angry for probably the rest of the weekend. And but in one way it's very frustrating, because it's just a reminder of how limited I am, that, you know, I can't even have my own little kind of shop or business like consistently, because I just, my disability, I can't tolerate, my body can't tolerate it. And when I'm reminded of that all the time, it can get really depressing, you guys. I have come a long way in terms of depression and living with chronic disability and You know, I'm not perfect. I still have really bad days. I was realizing I was trying to film something where I was just kind of showing my face and just saying hello and stuff. And that was a really bad day where even part of my face was, what's the word for it? Like, it looked like I had a stroke. Some days my face is like that, where my mouth and my eye droops a little bit more than the other side. Some days I can't hold my head up, like straight on my head. My head is literally like tilted sideways. And that day that I wanted to film, I was feeling like confident, like good inside. But then when I looked at the video, I didn't see myself. Like, not only has this disability and all my injuries and everything I've been through in the last 5 years, not only has it like taking my physical like function and ability, but like I don't look like me anymore. I find when I look in the mirror, like, I mean, some days I do, some days I feel like that, and then other days like my face is so puffy and I just do not see myself when I look in the mirror. And I've been finding, I've come to the realization this past week that's kind of, I think, what's been getting me feeling a bit down lately, is just not feeling like when I look in the mirror, I see myself, I see somebody else, and it's very frustrating because half of it is out of my control, right? There's not much in my life right now I have control over. And that's another really hard thing, is when lots of life circumstances are going on that you have no control over, it's really hard to deal with it. I was actually pondering the other day about doing a series on my channel just talking about my experience with anxiety and depression, probably in separate videos, because I know not everybody suffers with both conditions, but I thought it might be nice to share how I got through the worst of both of them, because I think I have been through the worst and I've come out of it okay. I still deal with, symptoms of anxiety on a daily basis, but for the most part, I can cope with it well. It doesn't consume every thought. Same with depression, compared to, a normal person who's all their life aspirations and dreams are coming to. Yes, I am depressed, diagnosed, right? It's not just self-diagnosis, but it's been a lot worse. I've been to a lot darker places. I have coping strategies now that keep me from going really deep and dark. And I think maybe that might help somebody out there. I know not everybody can have access to counselors or doctors, or just education in general about how to deal with these kind of things. Maybe sharing some of my tips would help somebody. So I would like to film those kind of videos. I can't give you a timeline when they will come out. I kind of film based on how I'm feeling and what I feel like talking about. I'm not somebody who sticks to like a solid plan, because I kind of just go with the flow. I've had to learn to go with the flow. I used to be somebody who was very rigid and organized, and if the plan went sideways, then I wouldn't like it, right? Like, I want everything to go as planned. But with everything that's happened to me, I've had to learn to not act like that and to just let life happen and hold on tight, so to speak. So yeah, I think doing videos like that might be helpful to some people, even just for me to remind me that, what, I have come a long way, and I do have these coping skills that do allow me to live while it appears a very difficult life. Like, honestly, compared to even 3 years ago, I'm in a much better place now mentally. So maybe I will get the courage to share that in some videos again. It's just finding the energy, and some days I just don't have a lot to say. Like, my mind, it's actually a coping mechanism your brain does when your brain is undergoing a lot of stress, whether it's, real stress or it's made up stress by your brain, right? But your brain can actually turn off. It actually shuts down. And those kind of days you might feel like you're just kind of staring off into space. You're kind of almost absent. It's just your brain's way of shutting down and protecting you, which is actually quite fascinating when you think about it. So I do have days where that does happen. Now let me find my next color. Okay, so now we are in, I think, February as far as an update. So Well, actually, no. I don't know if I updated you on that. January 29th, I actually had another procedure done. It's called hydrodissection. It's where they take a high volume of sugar water and they... Am I in frame? I think I'm in frame, kind of. Let me move this, actually, if I can. There, I think we have moved. Is the camera still going? Yes, it is. Okay, so hopefully you'll be able to see where I'm diamond painting now. What was I saying? January 29th. So yes, I had hydrodissection done. Now I've had it done 2 previous times, so this was the 3rd time. And what they do is they take sugar water and lidocaine, which is a freezing, and they inject it into the between the scar tissue and the nerves of the brachial plexus, which is a very important bundle of nerves coming from the neck into the arm, kind of. And the second time I had it done, I remember I initially had trouble breathing, but then all of a sudden it was like I was standing on top of a mountain, breathing in the most crisp air. Like, it brought me back to when me and my friend, we went snowshoeing on Mount Baker in Washington. Oh my God, it was so beautiful, and we made it to the top, and just the clean, cold, crisp air. That's how I felt. I do think that procedure, it actually did some permanent positive in me. Like, the goal of it is that it separates the scar tissue from the nerves, and then the body reabsorbs that scar tissue. So I do think it did something, but not sustained. I felt good for about, I think, 2 weeks after. My breathing was pretty nice. I think I filmed a lot of videos. That was not this time, that was last time again, which would have been last year sometime. And I was just feeling better. And then everything got worse again. So we decided to try it one more time, and that was on the 29th. You guys, it didn't do anything. If anything, I almost felt worse. So that's it. We're not doing any more of that procedure unless, of course, I haven't talked to my surgeon yet, so he may say do it one more time, but I don't think so, because out of the 3 times, only the second time did I feel any benefit at all. So we're probably not going to do that again. Now, that procedure, it's been done in the States, but it's not really something that they do in Canada, at least in my province and my doctors. They've never done it. I'm the first patient they've done it on. And so I was essentially a guinea pig. They were going off research studies they read on how to do it. So you would think that I would have been more scared, but probably because I'm a nurse, I just trust. And I have the mindset that anything I go through, if it would help one other person, then I will do it. So I was happy to oblige. Plus, there was a possibility that it might actually help me and prevent me needing another surgery, which would be awesome. But it appears not. So it didn't do much for me. So that was a little bit disheartening. I do follow up with that doctor, though, in March sometime. To get his final thoughts, but I think that's probably it for that doctor. The other thing that I have had done, I've been waiting to update you guys on, is February 1st, I went to the big city. It's like an hour and a half away. It's a horrible, horrible commute, but we went there to be started on something called lidocaine infusion. So I do respond to lidocaine injections pretty well. And I did have a procedure, if you were around in, I think it was December, was it? That I actually went to the hospital for a lidocaine infusion, but I had to have it done in the hospital. They hooked me up to like a heart monitor and vital signs monitors, and I had an infusion of that medicine over 2 hours. It was continuous into my bloodstream, and it seemed to really help. So they took that as a positive response, and then they want to set me up with at-home infusions. So what happened on February 1st was I had to go to the hospital. They set me up with this little device, and I'll post a picture up here because I do think I took a picture of the device. So it looks like a baby's bottle, honestly, and they inject all of the medication into it. It's like a little balloon in the middle, and that bottle just protects it from popping. And then what they do is they insert a little needle into my tummy. It doesn't go very deep. It's very small. If you are a nurse or a healthcare professional, it's like a sub-Q butterfly, so very small. if you've had an IV in before, they use a similar type needle, but they use the very tiny needle. And once they insert it, then they take that needle out. And what's left is just a very thin, flexible plastic catheter. And then they taped it all up in tape I was allergic to, of course. And the idea is that medication would slowly infuse over 1 to 3 days. So it depends on a few different factors like body temperature. Also, if you had to stop the infusion for any reason, and I did have to stop it a few times. So for me, it lasted about 2.5 days. Is that right? Or 1.5 days? I can't quite remember, but it was more than a day. They suggested stopping it overnight, so I did, because they want you to be awake and with it to be able to tell them if you felt relief, and also monitor side effects. So the first day that I had it done, as soon as we got home, I started it. I just unclamped it and the medication started infusing. Within maybe 2 hours or so, my mouth and tongue went numb. So I had to stop it for a little bit until those resolved, which took about half an hour. And then I started the infusion again, and then I stopped it at night. So I went to bed, and when I woke up, I finished it off that day, and it took until about 6 p.m. So yeah, it took a good while to infuse. I'm a little bit frustrated because when I came home the very first day, I think I did too much. I came home, I started the infusion, and I felt like my pain was really good. All of a sudden, I can move my neck in so many different ways that I normally cannot move it anymore. And of course, stupid me was doing that. And then I just caused a massive flare-up. And when actually that evening, I was already feeling it. And when I woke up in the middle of the night in excruciating neck pain and migraine. The pressure in my neck and my head was horrendous. It was almost enough to take me to the hospital, but I do have a lot of medications here to try and manage it. They didn't help much, but they helped enough that I sat inside here on the couch with that infusion going. Now that infusion, it's like an anesthetic, so it works on nerve pain, but it doesn't work on all types of pain. So that's why I was still having pretty severe pain. Plus, I think it was that there was so much pressure in my neck and head as well. And when you have increased pressure, there's nowhere for it to go. So it can be extremely painful. But yeah, so I'm a little worried. But the other thing is they started off on a very low dose. And I know my body. And with everything it's been through, I tend to require the highest dose of medications. There's usually a range, and, they have to start low because of side effects and danger, and they have to make sure you tolerate it well. There's no adverse reactions, but I think I will need dose increases probably quite a few times before we find my dose that works for me. The goal is that this infusion would work for 1 to 3 months. So some people get it every month. Some people can last up to 3 months before needing it again. Every time I need it, I have to go into the city to get it set up, and then again I'm sent home with it to infuse. So it's a little bit of a hassle to get there, but I'm feeling a little more comfortable. My husband has to take me, and he hates driving into the city, so it's a bit stressful in that regard. But if it works, it works, right? I'm hoping that we can find a dose that works, so that I just need to top up every 3 months, because generally speaking, how I feel is it's just like that. Every few months, I just need a break from the pain. I can cope with it for so long, and then eventually my body's just like, I need a break. And that's where that lidocaine infusion would come in handy, I think. So please, fingers crossed, or if you pray for me that they find the right dose, and this medication really does help bring some relief so that I can function again like a normal person. I cannot tell you how hard it is at my age. I'm in my early 30s to be so disabled by all of this stuff. So fingers crossed. I am still optimistic that it will work. Now, if it doesn't work, there's another medication that they're going to try. It's an infusion, but it's one that I have to be in the hospital for, and you need special monitoring. It is a ketamine infusion. Some people might have heard of that. There are people who use it for mental health and chronic pain, so it's dual use. So because I do deal with depression as well, it might be like a 2-in-1, right? 2-in-1 treatment. So I'm not opposed to trying it. I actually would like to try it to see if it is more effective than lidocaine in the end. Because if it is, then I would rather just do that. And that is something else that like you have to find your dose, and then you got to come into the hospital every time to get it. They don't send me home with anything. I don't know if they do that in the States, if they send you home with a infusion set up, or do they do it in the hospital? Let me know. I think in the States they have actual like private clinics that do it, whereas in my country, Canada, in my province specifically, we have one hospital in the big city that does this, and that's it. So there's a lot of people who could benefit from these treatments that aren't getting it because there's simply just not enough. It's really sad, you guys, the state of Canadian healthcare. If only I could tell you about it all, like as a patient and as a nurse. Like, I honestly would like to have the option to pay for healthcare, even though I would have no money and I would have to take out a loan, you know, and we'd be financially broke. But, you know, the one thing about Canadian healthcare that sucks is the delay in treatment, and the delay in treatment leads to so many chronic problems, so many chronic patients, and, you know, patients whose lives are ruined because they've got permanent damage from whatever condition they have just from waiting for diagnosis and treatment. It's really sad. So yeah, I had that infusion. I think it went well, but again, I did too much. So, you know, to be honest, I mean, I was in a flare-up with my neck and my head. It's just, it's hard to say how well it worked this time. So we did book another one for March. So in a month, or I guess a little less than a month now, I will go for my second one. I'm hoping they will increase the dose, and then we'll see how that one goes. And that time I am going to come home. I am going to get settled on the couch, and I'm not going to move, and I'm just going to watch movies, and I'm not even going to diamond paint, because this time I diamond painted and I think it was just too hard on me. And I'm just going to let the medication work and see if it's like it works better that way. I'm so stubborn. I never tend to follow the rules. It's not that. It's just if you've been in pain for a long time and all of a sudden your pain is gone, I cannot explain the amount of happiness you feel. Like it's amazing. So amazing. What else? Oh yeah, and then the following week I had to have a psych assessment or psychiatrist assessment. Now, I've mentioned this before. I'm also on the list for a spinal cord stimulator. So a spinal cord stimulator is a device that is surgically implanted into kind of the spine. So it's like a little battery box that I think they put around your stomach or your side. I think some people have it in their back. And there's wires that come off of it, and they are fed into your spinal column, and they are put at certain levels where your pain originates. So there's a couple different types of wires that can be put in for various reasons. And yeah, so I've been approved for that now. Part of the approval process is having a psych assessment. If it's for everybody, they just need to make sure that you actually are, you know, mentally well, that you know that this is not a cure and you might still have pain, but hopefully it does reduce it to a degree that you are more comfortable and can function better in life. The other thing is they have to make sure you're able to, you know, follow up with the equipment rep. So there's somebody who will follow you to make adjustments, because you can adjust the settings. And I think there's also a remote control. So like at home, I can turn it off and on, or I can turn it up or down, depending on what I'm feeling. So you just have to be mentally capable to do all of that. So I had that assessment. I was, again, anxious for weeks about that, and it lasted 40 minutes, and I was approved. So that's good news. So I'm approved for that. Now, we can't just book the surgery because they want to make sure I don't need any more surgery on my left arm before we go ahead and implant the stimulator, because the stimulator is going to be from all of the pain I have on my left side of my body. And this stimulator, they really want to get it in right the first time. If we put that in and then I need surgery, you know, a year later for my arm, there's a chance that the wires can get dislodged, and I would have to have that spinal cord stimulator removed and replaced. And there's a chance that they can never get it back in the right spot. So say I had it implanted and the pain relief was astounding, like 80%. Then I had a surgery that messed it up and they had to take it out and put it back in, but they couldn't get it back in the exact spot. and now my pain relief maybe 10%. So they really want to give it a good shot and a good go. So we are still currently in the process of my surgeon waiting for him to decide if I should have more surgery or not. I've talked about it before. What he wants to do is go back in. I hate when putty gets stuck to the glue. Don't you hate that? I really need to change this putty. Maybe I'll use this putty, because this pen I haven't used a lot. I hate that. Oh, now I lost my train of thought. What was I saying? Surgeon, yeah. So we're waiting for the surgeon to make up his mind whether he's going to go in one more time. What he would do is go in, clean out all of the scar tissue, which I have a lot of scar tissue. Again, think of it as poured cement all around the important nerves and even the blood vessels. Lots of important stuff in the brachial plexus. So he wants to go in, take out all the scar tissue again, but this time wrap the nerves in fat from a different part of my body. Why he didn't do it the first time, I know it's because it's risky, and again, it's experimental. They don't do it in Canada a lot. He's done it on 5 people. I would be the 6th one. Other patients have had good benefit. I really wish I knew more about it before I had my last surgery with him so I could advocate and really push for him just to do it. He ended up doing it on the right when I had my right side surgeries because he saw what happened with my left. So that I'm grateful for, and I've been having good results on my right. Like my right arm, as long as I don't overuse it, it actually has been really good to me. So that surgery I had was in April last year, so that's a good sign. Usually by now I start developing symptoms of scar tissue buildup, which means just nerve symptoms returning. But anyway, yeah, so we're not certain if I'm still going to have that procedure because my diaphragm is paralyzed on the right side. And actually, I saw a new doctor on Friday, a respirologist who I've been waiting to see for like a year, you guys. And I walked in there and she just looked at me and gave me a hug. I also know her because we used to work at the same hospitals. And of course, it's in my chart that I'm a nurse, so she knew. And she just, said, I can't believe your story and all you've been through. And, I can't believe you're here so late, right? Like I should have seen her a long time ago, but that kind of part fell through the cracks and I didn't get a proper referral. Anyways, point being, I see her now. So I saw her on Friday. She was amazing. She's one of the best doctors I've ever seen. She was so thorough. She reviewed all my medical and listened to me and listened to my symptoms and did a proper assessment. And she believes not only is my right diaphragm paralyzed, but my left is not working properly either, because on the left, I do have my phrenic nerve, which is the nerve that controls that diaphragm, is irritated with scar tissue. In all my other surgeries, it's been covered in scar tissue, and it just isn't working properly. So whether it's fully paralyzed or not, she's not sure, but she's pretty certain that my entire diaphragm is not working, and that's why I'm having so much trouble breathing. And because my breathing's getting worse, it's also an indicator that the scar tissue inside my left side is getting worse. So I have a feeling my surgeon will want to do that last surgery if he can, but he's worried that with my diaphragm being paralyzed, if he paralyzes the left side totally, I'm going to have like a really hard time breathing, and who knows, I might even need a ventilator, right? So it's very risky. So I do go, as I said, on the 21st to test that phrenic nerve, so then we'll know if it's healed or not. And at this time, it's going to be almost a year since it became paralyzed, so if it's not healed yet, I really don't think it's going to heal. And this respirologist said there's a couple things. She thinks I would be a good candidate for a diaphragm pacemaker. So if you've ever heard of a pacemaker for the heart, it makes the heart beat. They also have a pacemaker for the diaphragm, and it makes the diaphragm move. So she also said this is why I have central apnea. So I don't have obstructive sleep apnea like most people do. Mine is central, usually means it originates in the brain, but she says, I don't think you have a brain problem. I think you have a diaphragm problem. And if we get your diaphragm working, your central apnea may stop. So she is sending me for a bunch of tests. I have to go for a breathing test. I have to go for an overnight sleep study. She also thinks I'm using the wrong breathing machine at night. So she is sending me for a different sleep exam to test something called the BiPAP. So right now I use a CPAP, which is widely used for obstructive sleep apnea. But central apnea, because it's different and it's not from an obstruction, sometimes we need a more complex machine. So hopefully I get that appointment soon. So add that to the prayer list. I get a call for that appointment relatively in the near future, because I am struggling, you guys, because my apnea events at night are high. That means I stop breathing at night. They're back up to like 30 times an hour. So 30 times an hour, I stop breathing longer than 10 seconds, which means my oxygen level is probably not ideal either. And yeah, if you don't get sleep, like the doctor said, if you don't get sleep, everything else just falls apart. So yeah, I have to do that. And then they're also sending me for some pulmonary function testing and stuff, diaphragm testing. And what else? She was sending me for a few more things. So I do feel like I've fallen in the right hands finally. She's an internal medicine doctor, specialty respirologist, but she's also worked in internal medicine. So she's worked with a lot of rare diseases and conditions, and I think I'm in good hands with her. I don't think things are going to be missed now, which I felt like before, because really the only doctor actually I have two doctors that are really helping me. One is a physiatrist and one is the surgeon, but really a surgeon's focus is surgery, so he doesn't really have time to put the puzzle pieces together for everything else, right? So I had him refer me to this respirologist, so I'm really happy that I was able to get in to see her. And yeah, what else? Oh, it also turned out I had another ear infection. I don't get pain with ear infections. I get, like, my ear gets very itchy, but I also have really dry skin in my ears. It's a genetic thing. My dad has that too, but it turned out I had an ear infection. So my ringing in my ears has gotten so bad. I think I mentioned it in like an unboxing video. Every time I talk, every time I pause, like I'm doing now, I feel or I hear whooshing in my ear, and it's really distracting. Some days it's so bad that I feel like I'm going crazy. Like I just want to stop the noise. So hopefully I've got some fancy eardrops now, and hopefully that clears it up. But I still struggle with gaslighting myself when I know something's wrong. I just talk to myself like it's in my head and there's nothing wrong with me, and here I am suffering with all of these really serious health conditions because I'm just gaslighting myself. It's just horrible. I need to stop doing that. Now, I don't know how long I've been chatting, but I think, where are we? Oh yeah, just under an hour. So I'm just looking at my little book. I think that's all of the medical updates that I had. I did have some stuff I wrote down titled rant, but I'm going to save that for another video. Yeah, so Monday, actually, let's look at the coming week. So Monday, this video is going to go up on Monday on the 12th. So I do have another MRI that day in the evening. It's kind of funny. We don't know why I'm having this MRI. Apparently the requisition was put in 2022. So again, that is Canadian healthcare for you. Does this even belong there? No. That is Canadian healthcare for you. And the surgeon doesn't really know why. He ordered a neck MRI, not MRI chest and whatever else it is. But he said, you know what, this will help us if we are going to do surgery anyway, so just go get it done. So I have another MRI that, again, we have to drive into this city, which is exhausting, especially in the evening. It's like around 3 o'clock. So that means we're going to get stuck in rush hour on the way home. So both my husband and I are going to be grumpy, and so are the kids. They're going to be angry at us, but I have that. And then I also, on Wednesday, I have to go back to the dentist. Back in January, I had a tooth of mine chipped, so they put like a temporary, I don't know if it's a filling or what it is. They put something over top of the tooth because there's the history of a big cavity in there, but I need a crown. So on Wednesday, I'm going back for that. I'm really anxious because I don't respond to freezing like I used to. So last time it took 8 freezing needles to actually freeze my mouth. I'm really hoping that doesn't happen. So if you can pray that the freezing works the first time. We're not quite sure why freezing doesn't work in me, but it just doesn't. So I'm, again, very anxious about the dentist. That'll be Wednesday. I'm sure that's going to send me into a flare-up. I'm going to be probably on my back the rest of the week. And yeah, that's it. Nothing else planned that week. The following week, I have some more medical tests. So we'll update you with those on another WIP and Chat. But please, please, please let me know how you are doing in the comment section. If you are new around here, please introduce yourself. Let me know who you are and where you are from. Don't forget, I also have a Facebook group, DAC Fans Canada, that everybody is welcome to join. You do not need to be Canadian to join. Just make sure you answer the membership questions so that the mods can approve your request to join. It's just more of an interactive environment. I'm pretty active over there. Everybody can post and share tips, tricks, whips, anything. So please join us over there if you haven't. And yeah, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up before you head out. If you haven't subscribed and you've made it to the end, you will probably like it here. So click that subscribe button and hit the notification bell to be notified when I do post new videos. And until the next one, happy diamond painting, you guys. Bye.